All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Strategic Priorities, Communication, and Intergovernmental Cooperation Committee for Monday, May 26th at 12 p.m. I'll call to order. Is there any declarations of conflict of interest?
None.
Hearing none. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I sent out an email this morning just before he arrived.
Okay.
A couple of items on it that I just want to put under new business to get more information on.
So we'll get to that when we get to new business then.
Do you want me to wait till new business?
Yep, sure, yep, let's wait to new
Good,
business and
good.
we'll add it then. Thank you. Do I have an approval of the agenda? Mayor Brown, second by Deputy Mayor Yankoff. The approval of the previous draft minutes from April 24th, 2025. Moved by Mayor Brown, second by Deputy Mayor Yankoff. Any business arising from those minutes? Hearing none, thank you. So today we have two reports. A, electronic communications RFP, and B, budget adjustment for vehicle manager 7.1 server. So I'm going to hand it over to Rory. And Rory, can you talk to us about the electronic communications RFP, please?
Sure. So there's a report for this. Staff recommendation is to approve the award of the electronic communications RFP to Bragg Communications, operating as Eastlink. It's an estimated cost of $1.189 million over 5 years. That's a savings of approximately $44,000 per year over our current provider. If there's any questions, we can go into more detail.
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Councillor.
So when we do an award and a tender, what were the other bidders? Rogers, Bell, or did you just do sole source?
We actually did not. It was an open tender, but we did not receive any other bids. Bell did not.
Just the one bid?
No, just the one.
Okay. So currently we're getting it from Bell?
That's correct.
And if I could also ask, Mr. Chair, if you look at the reach that Bragg Communications, Eastlink have compared to Rogers, Bell, think you're satisfied if you're proposing?
Oh,
this
very
bid?
satisfied with what they're proposing. They have agreements with Rogers, TELUS, Bell to roam on all of their towers as well. So any area where Eastlink does not have coverage, they will fall back on the other providers. As a test, because we were using Eastlink for some of the police services, I actually got a cell phone on the Eastlink with an Eastlink SIM just to do testing. I've been using it for months, and the service has actually been better than what we had with our previous provider.
And Mr. Chair, could I also ask, the $40,000 saving, that's per year?
That's per year, that's correct.
And the life of this contract, I missed it, is it 10 years or
It's 5 years.
5 years?
Okay. Any other questions, Mayor Brown?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm just going to hand it over to someone. You done? Okay, thank you. To the deputy.
Thank you. And through the chair to Rory, are you able to just, break it down a little bit in terms of like a, grade 6 language, like what is going to be better than isn't already? Like just, if you could share a little bit of that.
Yeah, for the most part, it is a very similar service. So we have landlines, we have cell service, we have internet service. Those would be the three main services that are provided. The proposal that we received from Eastlink included some additional redundancies on the internet side. The cell service, like I said, has been, from my experience, has been better. And landlines, I don't know that there's going to be any improvements there, but they are able to offer landlines at a better price.
So,
And just a follow-up, if I could. So this will replace all other old existing contracts. This is it. This
Yep.
is your service provider.
That's
For
correct.
all things city-related.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Rory, just a question on, so if I understand this correctly, we're moving to a new service provider here. And as a result of that, you will be working out a plan to move all of landlines. of course, mobile cell phones across all of the city. I believe we do have a number of assets that are with the other proponent or with another company. And so we'll be working towards a plan is that going to allow us to continue to keep the old equipment that we have? Because we've purchased that, but we'll be just changing providers, correct?
It'll be done on a case-by-case basis. Most would be transferable, but there will be a couple of edge cases where the old device only supports an old network, which is no longer supported. We may have to transition to a new device, but we would have been due for a new device anyway for those cases.
Okay, so there'll be some work around that, obviously, and some planning. for
It
that.
will be a large undertaking.
Yep,
Yep.
okay. And you plan to do that over the 5-year period, or is that,
This will be as quick as possible, measured in months, but yeah.
okay, thank you. Councillor McKinnon, do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. How many landlines do we have on the city? And I'm curious in a sense, because with government, they're trying to eliminate landlines. Is there a plan? Because pretty much everybody carries a cell phone. Some offices need a landline, I get that, but is there a plan in place to try to get rid of some of these landlines?
Part of the plan for this, as part of the process of moving over, will be doing a full inventory of those who have both landline and cell phone and consolidating those into a single cell phone, removing the landline where possible. As far as the total number of landlines, I don't have that on hand, but I could get that for you after the meeting.
Okay, now, yet a further savings if we're able to consolidate those, so thank you. Okay, so I guess you're seeking our support to move this to council for so moved by Councillor McKinnon, second by Deputy Mayor Yankoff. Thank you.
Okay, resolution's on the floor.
I guess the motion's on the floor. I guess.
Motion's
We
on the
don't have
floor.
any
Just want to speak to it
resolution.
again. Is that all right?
Pardon me?
Just want to speak to it again.
Sure.
Rory, if I look at our budget document, and Elaine's here too, is your budget under finance? There's no, it's separated under, in the capital budget.
There's
So- Elaine?
there should be a separate IT section.
I got
Might be under.
City government?
Might be under city government, yes.
So your current budget is, if I look at it here, where are we? Strategic priorities, communications, expenses, communications and marketing, that's not it, information technology. So, computer supplies, network, what line item is it? Is it phones?
So there's a little bit of, it's spread across two different account codes.
Yeah.
So there's one for phones.
Yeah.
And then there's one for internet as well. And then the phone one also includes some other services related to radios. Those are not part of this contract.
So that amounts to 430,000, those two line items.
Yeah.
And then you have a capital budget too, right, Lane? But is there any, this is all operational?
This project would be entirely operational.
So
no
if we
capital.
took that over 5 years with incremental increases, you'd be looking at 2.5 million, would that be right? With Bell, if we stayed with them?
Potentially. The estimate we had was around between 1.6 and 1.8 million.
Right, right. And as for landlines, I still have a landline, and it is the most secure line, if you talk about security, because it's not a Wi-Fi connection. So I prefer to keep our landline, or my line. Is that a preference that we're looking at? We have to keep landlines.
It will be
Police.
a discussion for each one, yeah.
Yeah. And the last question, Mr. Chair, so we do have an agreement that was signed by our former chair of the Kerry Board, the Bell Alliance Board, Sean Murphy, and it's a 5-year or 7-year, I think $70,000 a year to stay with Bell. So we'll have two service providers, one for Bell Alliance and one for the city of Charlottetown. And one of the issues that I'm going to bring up under new business is about cellular pickup or cellular reach. If you look at that link that I sent out to you, Canadian Cellular Towers Association, if you look at the Brighton area, there's not much coverage for cellular phones. So I think hopefully we'll take a look at that as something ongoing.
I will say, as part of the discussions that we had with Eastlink, they did say that they're willing to work with the city to increase coverage anywhere that we need better coverage.
And Mr. Chair, I don't know if the Chair of Public Works, I know he's been quite a bit out at the Simmons Aqua Arena, but the cellular reception out there, or Wi-Fi at Simmons is terrible. And he'll tell you, there's nothing there.
Yeah, for that case, it is the building, the construction of the building block signal, and it's also in a poor coverage zone to begin with.
Thank you. Let's stay on topic here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Rory. If we could move to the next report, which is, let me scroll to the top here again, sorry. Budget adjustment for vehicle manager system. Can you? Oh, yeah, we did, yeah. Yeah, we had, these two have moved it. So we'll move that up to council for discussion, or for approval. Thank you. And on to the budget adjustment for vehicle manager 7.1 servers. Can you speak to that, please? Rory?
Sure, so we have a report here for a staff recommendation to have council adjust the 2025-2026 IT budget to include unspent funds from the 2024-2025 budget for vehicle manager 7.1 server, and further that we increase that budget by $50,000 for a total of $150,000. The server went out for tender in the previous budget cycle and was awarded to a vendor, but they came back late in March to say that they could not provide the equipment at that price, and they rescinded their offer. We didn't have a chance to update the budget for this year at that point, and we didn't have the chance to award before the end of the year to another vendor. If there's any other questions.
So Rory, just on that, I guess when you use the language, use the unspent budget from 24-25, that's essentially gone at this point, right? So really what you're asking for is for an increase in your operational budget for 25-26 from 100 to 150.
I mean, technically, there's $0 available at the moment, so it would be an increase of $150,000. $100,000 of which was not spent in 2024-2025.
Yeah, so that's gone.
It
So
is
that-
gone. Yeah.
That's gone from a budgetary perspective. So you're essentially asking for, 150
That's correct.
for this expenditure. So the question that will be raised here, I suspect, is how urgently do we need these vehicle manager systems? I assume we have the chief here to maybe make that case, to help build this case here. I mean, we're likely, obviously, if it's something that is operationally imperative, we're going to have to find a way to fund the $150,000 expenditure. So does someone want to speak to my question about the urgency and nature of the system, or is it something we can say, we don't have the budget, we'll get it next year? I'm assuming that's not what's desired here. Chief?
Well, Chair, yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to clarify, we're looking for this in operational or capital?
It's capital.
Capital.
It's capital. It's in the financial.
Okay. Yeah,
It'll be added onto a capital.
Sorry, you're right.
yeah,
You're sorry, you just, I'm sorry.
yeah. I can certainly speak to the necessity of the vehicle manager server that we're really talking about here, that's kind of at the backbone of our fixed LPR presence across the city and province. I can, sum it up, to say this saves lives. And, I can think of just at the top of my head, 5 different examples over the last couple of years would have played a significant part in mitigating high-risk situations and playing it back in better outcomes for people that were at risk to themselves. Not to mention the road safety implications of having this technology. So, last year it was certainly, we were disappointed when the vendor pulled out at the last minute. It kind of left us in a precarious position, but I appreciate the IT department bringing it forward again, and I hope council will give it every consideration to make it happen. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, thank you. So we did have a budget in 24, 25. We had every intention of proceeding through. It just, we got crossed over in a time frame where we wouldn't have budgeted it for 25, 26 because we didn't need to. But then as we crossed over into the new fiscal, they backed out. Now that money is essentially gone and we need to continue. So makes sense to me. Justification makes sense to not wait till the 26, 27 budget. I guess the question to our finance director, acting finance director, is, would we have the capacity to increase our capital by $150,000? And if so, how and where would it come from? Can you speak to that?
So, thank you, Chair. So, we're only 2 months into the fiscal year right now, so it's too early for us to identify those projects that might be running behind schedule at this point. I would anticipate, though, throughout the year that you are going to see some slip in some of our other capital projects where there will be the opportunity to do a funding allocation further down the road. But I think the ask is right now is to add this amount to our total capital budget this year. And then we'll adjust the capital forecast accordingly as we see slip on some of our other capital projects. But I just came on stream with this report this morning, so I don't really have any up-to-date information with respect to if there's any capital projects out there, even a month and a half into the new fiscal year, if there's going to be slip that we can identify at this time.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't know who was on first, so I'll go to the deputy mayor.
Thanks. Just a
Sorry,
couple
I didn't know who was
questions.
buzzing first.
One would be, what department are these for? Are these for protective services, police services? And if they are, then this was the conversation we had during budget discussion. Why is it coming under IT? Or why are we mixing and matching? Some stuff goes under IT, some goes under the departments. And I thought the plan was so that it would be very streamlined and we'd understand what our IT budget was. Either everything was going to go through its own department or it was all going to go through IT. So that's my first question. And my second question would be, how come the language in the report, if you were to read it without the chair having explained it better by saying that really the money's gone, so really what you're asking for is 150, how come that's not in the report so that it's clear? Because really, you're asking for the whole amount. So those are my two questions for whoever can answer them.
I'll take a stab at the first one. I think we've had that discussion regarding the IT budgets for different departments, and I think it was determined that because this is strictly related to the servers and the IT for that program, that those things would stay within the IT department. And all things across the departments that would have that. I think we haven't really settled, Deputy, on that whole, like things that belong in each of the things, but I think from an IT perspective, it was determined at capital when we were doing things that it would fall under IT, rightfully or wrongfully, but I think that's what we landed on. So all things IT come to the IT department, and all things other operational would stay within policing services. I see Rory agreeing with his head shake, so I assume that he understands that the same way. As for the second question, that would have to go back to the author of the report. I have to assume might be Rory. And Rory, you might be able to speak to that, and how you were trying to convey your message here and what we were doing.
Sure. So for that, the intent was to make it clear that the money from 24-25 was not spent, and that we needed 150,000 this year. And I apologize for any confusion on that. That the intent was to make it clear, though.
So before this goes to I mean, I'll support this, absolutely. But could we amend the report so that when it goes to council's reading the report, it's in the report?
I think that's fair. We could take some of that questioning out if you can just amend it, just so that it adds a bit more clarity, because 7 other people are going to likely maybe have the same question about that. So I'm just going to, before Lane, I'm going to give Councillor McKinnon just a quick opportunity there to jump in with a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's something that Rory said, and I probably misunderstood it, but regarding the tender, you said council awarded the tender was awarded, and they backed out. Is there any penalty? Like, this is the first in my 3 years, I haven't seen this, so is there any repercussions back to the company for backing out?
Generally there could be clauses within a particular agreement that would allow that, especially if work had started and they did. But I think in this particular case, since, nothing had proceeded at this point in time, it could have backed out for many reasons, right? They could have, no longer business, or any number of things that would make them want to do that. How badly we'd want to push that and go forward and try to seek some type of compensation for that would likely not amount to anything other than a whole lot of people's time. It's an unfortunate situation. It sounds like it certainly put us back, and now we're in this situation. Hope to find another solution. So I assume you're going back to RFP with this one, or do you have to go back to find another vendor?
It will have to go back out to RFQ.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of lost time here. And then, so Chief.
Yes, Chair, through to Councillor McKinnon. In fact, this is the exact scenario that we felt we've dealt with the vehicles, the police vehicles. It was initially awarded to Ford, and then they couldn't deliver, and then we were forced to go back. So, yeah, it has happened before. It's not ideal. It puts us in a difficult place, but it does happen.
I think it'd be it's probably a common practice, and unfortunately it just puts people behind in a lot of work.
Yeah,
Mayor
so
Brown.
just to follow up on that, Mr. Chair. We've had issues like the Eastern Gateway Big Dig project. Liquidated damages is what we were looking at. We don't have a penalty for being late. We don't have a bonus if you're done early. So I think the chair addressed this on this other issue we're dealing with, the paving, is that there is a dire need to get a procurement bylaw in place so we have a framework to work within. But just to get back to this, Rory, last year the budget was $645,000 for capital under technology. Where is it? Learn LPR, that was $100,000, right? So you thought because you already had the tender and it was awarded, they couldn't deliver, correct?
Sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Last year, the 24-25 budget, it was LPR server, police service, 100 something. So it says here, learn LPR server, police services, 100,000. You went to tender last year, correct? And you had a price within that 100,000, right? But they couldn't deliver. So we have to go back. So it's not really that you're not, as you said, you're not really asking for 100,000. You already had in the budget, you thought it was spent, but the bidder couldn't come through with the hardware. So you're asking for 150,000, which is an increase in your capital budget. I'd prefer to have it in the capital than in the operational. And yeah, I support what they want to do. It's just, this happens with contracts. And, as Councillor McKinnon said, do we have an opportunity to penalize a bidder for not delivering on the service or on the product? that maybe could be addressed in the procurement bylaw.
Okay, so we want to, you're seeking our support to move this forward to council? Oh, everybody's right. Okay. So we'll move that forward to council for further discussion and debate. Okay, thank you. All in favor, good. Councillor McKinnon and the deputy. You put your hand up, deputy, thank you. Okay, that's all we have for reports. So we're going to move through to any new business, and I believe the mayor wants to
So
bring forward.
you do have an item there under municipal signage.
Municipal
This is
signage.
just to get more information. When I look at the project out at the Simmons Aqua Arena facility, 3 levels of government made contributions, provincial, federal, and municipal. So I've asked that the signage to our building, that building, and on any other public building should be English, French, and Mi'kmaq, like we do at our entrance for the city of Charlottetown. Welcome, bienvenue, Jalazi. And I just want to put that on the burner. I don't want it on the back burner, on the front burner. I know Frank is already looking at addressing it at Simmons. And the other item, Mr. Chair, is
Can I just ask a question on that item first, if you don't mind, please? So thank you for bringing that forward and trying to understand and navigate that through this committee. Can you explain the context of bringing it through this committee? Is it from a intergovernmental affairs perspective? Because I see a couple, as the deputy indicated here a minute ago, this is probably crossing over a couple different domains, like planning has a signage bylaw, correct? I don't know if that indicates in there you can have multiple languages, so it crosses over into there. It also crosses over into our city-owned facilities. You said Parks was looking to do that. So from the perspective of this committee, what is it we're doing, or what would you like this committee to do to support this, and how are we doing that? Is it from
it's a communications issue,
it a
how we get that message out
communications?
and how we make sure that our partners, federal, provincial, NGOs, private entities, private stakeholders, that we're a bilingual province, but we also have a First Nations component that we have to but make sure that it's part of any welcoming or any signage that we put out
So-
in city right-of-ways or city buildings, and that's why I brought it here.
And I respect that. So I guess when I look at the management team here, I'm wondering, who are we, like, from this, what you're putting forward, who are we assigning that to take on as an initiative that we can move forward from this committee? We have Rory here from IT, which I don't think would be the applicable manager to take that on. Would that be, we have Melanie, who is not here with us today. Maybe that is something, Melanie, I work with directly on the management team, something Melanie could take on. Is that what we're expecting?
Yeah, I would suggest that this goes back to upper management and the CAO, and there again, there's where you get your cross-pollination of who's responsible or how they work together to move this forward.
So I'm just trying to avoid in 3 months we come back here, you're asking where we are with the report is, but we haven't really assigned it to anybody.
Yeah.
So the chief is also here acting for the CAO today, so if the chief could just make note of that and pass that on to Sue, that we're looking to kind of move that agenda forward on that, and we'll see where it goes from. And I do see the deputy has questions, so I'll hand it over to the deputy if she wants to comment any further from.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Chair, I just wanted to reiterate, that's just so important to highlight that we can avoid those working in silos. And, from my understanding, one of the many advantages of having these directors and having 2 in the room right now is that we shouldn't have to revisit this again. We've got almost every department represented today here in this meeting. So, so this is to me a step towards getting out of these silos and actually, having a direction in the sense that this is something that now comes back as something that's not where are we at with it, but that it becomes an operational item and it's actually being, there's a file now and it's actually a task for somebody somewhere in the corporation.
Thank you for that. Okay, so no further questions. We'll note that. Thank you. Is there any other items on the agenda?
The other item, I sent you an email prior to
Seeing
this
that
meeting.
now.
I don't know if you got it there, Councillor McKinnon.
Just got it here
But
now.
it does talk about the strategic plan. Like, there was a lot of work put into that. And I think with our former CAO, I don't know where it went, but I think we have to put it back on track. And there are actions which we got to understand during some discussions that we had previously with candidates for the CAO, is that we have an opportunity to update those actions. And I sent it to, I can send it to all of senior management, so you have it, to look at, and again, strategic priorities, communication, intergovernmental cooperation. This strategic plan falls under our terms of references. And I did attach Melanie also to the email, so that we can start, put something in place and maybe start checking off those actions. So that's just, again, notice of motion. And the other one, Mr. Chair, is the Canadian Cellular Tower locations. The link I gave you, you just click on Canadian Cellular Tower locations, then you go to location Charlottetown. You'll see that the western part of the city, the downtown, the Brighton area, there's not much service there for cellular service. So I think it's an opportunity for the councillors going to Ottawa, because I believe Mr. Robert Gibbs will be there. He's the CEO of Canadian Telecommunications Association. This falls under his responsibility. Could be an opportunity for us to get out and have a coffee chat with him and take down some notes and take them back to council and share them in the public forum. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to move this file forward. And the last thing I have to say is, and I know you've said it too, Mr. Chair, but this website that we have, charlottetown.ca, I know the provider is Civil, no, it's a new one. It's
the service is Civic Live, and it's provided by Power School.
Power Schools that do the school systems across the country. Like, that system is so heavy.
So-
And if I can just finish, I know that the deputy has been asking, well, since 2019, like, let's do something with it. And if we have to spend more money on the capital side, be glad to do it.
Thank you for bringing that up, actually, because I did have that in, when I was doing my survey for the MGA, one of the things on there was about one of the questions. So one of the things I raised on there was the city's website and navigating the information. So Roy, I would like to officially put it on as new business as well, so that we can start to have discussions about the future of our website. And, and revisiting it from the perspective of obviously communications, content, navigation, that allows our public and ourselves. Like, I find it very difficult to navigate information on there pertaining to council, and I've heard other sentiments of the same. So thank you for bringing that up, because I wanted to bring that up.
Windows 3.1 won't let it work.
So just to wrap up, in the email that you sent, is there any reference or relevance to all the other links you sent us, or we just ignore those ones?
Those,
Are you sure? 'Cause you sent a
that's what
dozen
Rory
links.
said to.
You sent
no,
a
the
dozen
only-
links, so I'm
The
just
only
wondering.
link, forget the Chrysler Dodge Plymouth Neon SX 2.0. It's the first one, Canadian Cellular Tower locations. Open that up.
Is Zatsy not funny? We don't have to do anything with that? That's
No,
okay.
and geocaching, Hobulek, don't,
We're all good, okay.
it's,
thank you.
it's in my email.
And a good IT practice, as Rory would say, is don't click on any links that you're not familiar with. So I'm not clicking on anything you sent, I don't know.
This is safe and secure.
Okay.
Rory and I checked.
Okay, perfect, thank you very much. Okay, I think we have concluded, so we have a couple new items for a business, which is great. Anybody have any other further questions or comments? If not, do I have a move to adjourn? Councillor McKinnon, second by Mayor Brown. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.